So I did a video the other day talking about the reporting that a lot of outlets are doing regarding Palworld. It's the same reporting they do on many other games. They like to look at like the numbers of the population and scream to the skies that something must be wrong if the game is shedding all of these players within a certain amount of time. And I dove into the intricacies of the conversation behind that in that other video, talking about how that's just not true. A game shedding its player base within a few weeks after launch is not indicative of a failed game. It's just the cyclical nature of the way people play these days, combined with all the other distractions we have with Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO Plus, Paramount Plus, the new Dune movies coming to the theaters, like all these things that are taking away from what used to be just time dedicated to gaming. Now people have lots of options. There's tons of free games, Steam, GOG, Epic, PlayStation Plus, Microsoft Game Pass. Like everybody's got stuff that they can do, so it's not that big of a deal. And I love the fact that the Palworld devs, or at least one of them, like Bucky, one of the lead guys over there, came out and made a statement about this the other day. It's a really wholesome statement. I'm going to read through it here. I just kind of want to talk about it because I think it's a really, really, really good approach to things. So essentially, they were hoping for 50,000 sales and got way more than that. So they're very, very happy with where they are. And I love the message that they give people about how you shouldn't be guilty. You don't have to be guilty about playing other games or going other places. So it says here, with Palworld quickly approaching the 1 month mark, it's interesting to look back at my own thoughts for launch. In May of 2023, I was convinced that Palworld could break the 50,000 player mark. Anything above that, though, seemed unobtainable, and I certainly never expected to reach into the millions. Last I heard, it was 8 million copies, which is crazy to think about. It's taken years to get to this point, and Palworld only really begins from here. Everyone is working hard to fix the issues and prepare new content in Pals. Some of you may have had your fun over the first 3 weeks and found yourself putting the game down. That's fine. This is the part I really want to focus on. He has a great comeback to this, to the reporting that's going on in the industry. The emerging Palworld has lost percent of its player base discourse is lazy at best, but it's probably also a good time to step in and reassure those of you capable of reading past a headline that it's fine to take breaks from games. You don't need to feel bad about that. Palworld, like many games before it, isn't in a position to pump out massive amounts of new content on a weekly basis. New content will come, and it's going to be awesome, but these things take a little bit of time. There are so many amazing games out there to play, you don't need to feel guilty about hopping from game to game. If you're still playing Palworld, we love you. If you're no longer playing Palworld, we still love you, and we hope you'll come back for round 2 when you're ready. Play lots of games, try different genres, and frequently flick through indie libraries to find hidden gems. That is an incredibly wholesome message from a developer who has seen an overwhelming amount of success for their project, and reminding people that, hey, just because these news outlets are publishing, by the way, these are the same news outlets that'll go around claiming things like Xbox is the sky is falling, the Xbox is discontinuing their hardware, they're no longer going to build consoles, they're no longer going to have exclusives, Game Pass is going away. Like all these people who were calling for the sky was falling, the Xbox was shutting down before the event, the podcast ever even happened. This is just shoddy reporting at best. It's sensationalism, just to get clicks. And I'm glad that we have a developer coming out and in fighting back against that narrative, but in a positive way of saying, look, don't believe the narrative. If you can look past the headlines, you'll realize we only thought we were going to sell 50,000. We've sold 8 million or whatever it is now to date. We're good. Like, we are set. We are just in the saddle building the next iteration. We're building more pals. We're bringing more content. We're going to have more content soon. We're going to do whatever we can to get it there, and it'll be fun. And there was a greater conversation to be had about uh, Palworld, like many games before it, isn't in a position to pump out massive amounts of new content on a weekly basis. New content will come, and it's going to be awesome, but these things take time. These things take time. No one can stay ahead of the people with no lives. And if I dare say it, a lot of streamers and people whose lives are about, being online for 12 hours a day, and they just consume content at a breakneck pace. It might seem to some people like I consume content at a breakneck pace compared to them. I don't really. What I do is I create a lot of YouTube videos around a very small number of games, whereas other people will just play lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. They'll play 20, 30 games in a month, whereas I only maybe do 3 or 4. It's still a very breakneck pace, even at the pace I take it. So it's great to see developers addressing this and saying, our population sink doesn't have anything to do with our game being bad. It's just the cyclical nature. People played their 3 weeks, they got their enjoyment, they're off to the next thing because that's how some people play. That's how most people play these days. So there's nothing wrong with that. So great message from them. I look forward to seeing the next iteration of Palworld myself. I currently like Enshrouded a little bit more, but that's because I just like my medieval fantasies a little more. It's just a personal preference thing. That's it. But I had fun in Palworld when I tried it, and I wish them nothing but great success. And I can't wait to see what they're going to pull off in the long term. Because much like Valheim, if they've sold millions and millions of copies, they're set for life. They don't ever have to worry about money ever again, and they can just focus on doing updates and building out the scope of the original vision that they had, and that takes time. So, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update, everybody. See you next time. Daily streams here and on Twitch. Don't forget the Discord. Until then, stay safe. Happy gaming.